Record. Boom.
All right, cool. Let me get this going. Close. Okay. Sorry, where's my screen at? There it is. Boom. All right, you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So essentially, I'm a CSE and I talked to a lot of customers. When we started out, we had like thousands of customers in our book of business. So I've been talking to customers and we maybe keep at most three interactions with the customer, because you're kind of, we're kind of we're not a one-to-one resource. But
Mm,
all that to say is I've spoken to a lot of customers, and what I've noticed a few patterns, even with myself. So let me just kind of pull it up real quick because it's easier to show. So what I noticed is whenever I'm using GitLab, if I'm inside of like an epic or an issue, sometimes I'll kind of be like, okay, where am I at? I need to go up and kind of look at where I am sometimes. And I've noticed customers have done that too. I thought it was just me, but I've kind of noticed that. So I was wondering I created this in Navatic as just a way to kind of illustrate what I'm talking about. So imagine this color. I mean, it's probably ugly in terms of of how it's supposed to be. I'm not a UI designer, but just for the sake of this color is here is for a reason. So I'm inside of a group. So
mm,
if I scroll down and I go down to, let's say, Tanuki Capital, now, I realize, I'm still inside the same, like another group, and it has this color. However, if I drop into, let's say, a project, then the color in this case would change to, purple or whatever, the color doesn't matter, but it would just be like a different color. And what that seems to, for me, it helps me to kind of like my brain automatically process like, okay, I'm in a different place now. So it's like
mm,
I'm in project versus group, it kind of helps because otherwise, when they're all the same color, I notice that sometimes you're looking at it and you can look at there's a little icon, right? Groups have the different icons and whatnot, right? You have like your project here and then you got this little, three dots. But when I'm just jumping into it and it's all the same color, it just feels the same, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I was just wondering, like, would it make sense? So in this case, okay, so I've dropped into my project here, right? But then at the same time, let's say I'm inside of this is also like the light version, so I'll kind of drop this. So this is like different color. Now in this
Mm,
case, also there is hold on, let me see if I have it here. So if I go into an issue board and I want to jump into an epic. So in here, I have this epic and it's, a particular color. So if I scroll down to, let's say, an issue. So let me just kind of jump down here. Forgot which one I set it up to. One of these should click. There we go. So I'm inside here. Now if I jump into so I kind of threw this together last minute. I'm trying to make sure, see where the clicks are.
no
Uh,
problem.
this should jump. Yeah, I can redo this later, but I just want to kind of, dang, I'm gonna have to go back to the, but I don't know, does it kind of make sense though? Like as far as, like, I guess I don't really know the best way to convey or I don't know if this is something that like y'all may have already seen at some point, or if I'm even talking, I mean, I just want to kind of throw it out there. I don't know, like, how do you feel about it?
Yeah. Uh to come back to the bit at the right at the beginning, um,
Yeah.
the question I had was how do you find where you are today?
So today, here, I'll just jump into that actual environment. So this is the actual, environment here. But so yeah, today I'm, I navigate through. So I'm in my group now. If I jump, I work out at Tanuki Capital a lot. So jumping
Mm,
into Tanuki Capital, and hop in the Capman. And I mean, there is like, it doesn't feel, you know what I'm saying? Like when I go back from project to group, it still kind of feels like even though I'm clearly inside of a repository at this point, it's just it's not more so of what is here on the main page. It's more so of like, okay, let me check the settings for this whatever, and then I'm in here looking at settings, thinking of a group, and I'm like, oh wait, no wait,
Mm,
I got to go back to the topic because it kind of all looks the same to an extent. And I've
yeah.
noticed customers do that too when they try to show me certain things they've seen in their environment, in in whatever context, and they'll be like, okay, let me check my setting, and then I'll see them kind of trip up a little bit as well. And so I
Mm.
wasn't sure. And I've noticed like a few people have, kind of mentioned that sometimes it can be confusing to an extent. Um, so I'm just wondering if it would make sense to somehow use some kind of color coding in the themes. Like it can be very subtle, I guess, I imagine, but I don't know if that even, I have no idea. I just want to kind of throw it out there. I figured, hey, I
Yeah,
don't really, I'm,
definitely. No, thank you. Thank you for so much for sharing it. The getting the getting lost is something I've seen, and I'm pretty confident that teams who are more user facing than my team will have come across this as well. One other question I had is you've got two projects here. You've got Capman and Capital Management.
yes.
How are you looking to tell a difference between when you're in Capman versus Capital Management? Where are you looking? How are you orientating yourself?
Well, so this is Capman is actually a copy of Capital Management, which, if you look at this, I had to like refactor it. So that is a good question because this is supposed to be simulating like a finance corporation that, has a
Mm,
repository and they're switching from legacy to a newer version or whatever the case may be. So that is actually a use case, customer service story kind of thing. In
mm.
this case, if I jumped in here, or let me see, or it might be. Oh, it might have been scheduled for deletion. I gotta
We
I
could
don't know
we
what's
could
going
choose
on.
the upload tool as a different project if you like, customer upload
Yeah.
tool.
Oh wait, why isn't anything? Huh, that's weird. Let me refresh. Refresh. All right, let me see. Customer upload tool. There we go. So in this case, I would be able to tell immediately by so each of these projects, I tried to use as much GitLab features, as many features as possible. I just want to kind of like just try to max it out. So
Yeah.
in this case, I used little icon files for each of the different types of products or whatever the case may be. So that helps me a lot when if I open this up. Oh wait, oh yeah, I forgot that one doesn't even work. If I go to the customer upload tool, it doesn't work either. Okay, that's weird. What's going on? I don't know if I'm gonna FinCalc. Huh. Maybe I need to clear my cache or something. Let me see. Because I don't
Have
know
we
what's
just
going on.
found an incident?
Oh, is there something going on?
Just having a quick look.
All right. Yeah, because we could definitely continue the conversation. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there, man, because it just seems like it I noticed that, because usually developers, they don't typically want to even look at the UI. They usually stay in the command line anyways.
Okay.
But yeah, I noticed that some customers will kind of imply that, the navigation can be a little clunky in a way. Um,
Yeah.
and so I feel like if there's some, because I play a lot of video games, right? Usually, if something like that were in a game, something would change in the background. Maybe some
Mm,
new song will play, or maybe some background just looks a little different. So you'll know, you're like, okay, it doesn't feel that samey, I guess, if that makes sense, even though it's the same level.
yep.
It-
Yep. Yep. Yep.
like, so I'm wondering if maybe if we can apply something like that to kind of help, because it just feels. I don't know how does it feel to you whenever I'm in here? Because I don't know how this actually So like if I'm over here in a project, I don't know why they're clicking. Yeah, everything over here is this. This must be one of those days for me.
So too many tabs.
Yeah, yeah, that too. I have like, yeah, this. I need to restart and everything. But yeah, if I'll fix this and I can share it in the chat or in our same thread
Yeah,
and
please.
I just throw it in there. and it's gonna be I'll make sure the clicks work. I just kind of got polish it a little bit, but then yeah, if you just I'll just make it to where if you just click, it'll just kind of change. Um, but yeah, if we can definitely continue the conversation. I gotta hop on another call here in a second. But I
Just
appreciate
to
you.
check I understand the idea.
Yeah,
So when you move between different groups, the background color changes to be more obvious that you've changed group. And if you move between different projects, the background color would also change just as a stronger indication that something has happened.
yeah, and I imagine we would probably have like our brand colors, but then maybe there's customers could customize it inside of the theme, whatever they can.
Mm.
Because if you just, allow them to use the little color wheel, then I guess they can make it whatever they want. But the only thing is I had the opacity down to like 20%. So that way, whatever color it is, you can still see what's actually happening.
Mm.
But
Oh, thank you. Lash, this is awesome. I'll work to write it up and try and get it to the right people.
cool. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, if you need any, we can definitely continue the conversation. I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. And I appreciate you. Thanks for, giving me your time, man. I appreciate that.
Hey, you're welcome. Have a great day.
All right, take it easy.